Hello.
Hello, please.
Yeah, what's the problem, sir?
We just drove down our farm track.
Yeah.
Go and feed our pheasants. We come across a Range Rover with 3 people in it.
Yeah.
It appears that they're dead. I don't know what's happening. Blood in the motor all over them.
We're going to be taking a look at the key moments on the 6th of December 1995 concerning Tony Tucker. This will start with the meal at TGI Fridays just after midday on the 6th of December, the mysterious phone calls he receives just after 2 p.m, and then his subsequent murder later on that evening. Firstly, let's start with a statement from a waitress at TGI Fridays. The following statement is from Linda Wolfe, dated the 11th of December 1995. I've worked as a waitress at TGI Fridays restaurant situated at Lakeside Shopping Centre complex in West Thurrock since April this year. My work entails the taking of orders and serving of food and drink to customers who attend the restaurant. TGI's is an American-themed burger and steak restaurant and also has a large bar centred within the premises. There are a large number of staff members and we all know each other as we spend so much time working at the restaurant. On Wednesday, the 6th of December 1995, I started a day shift at work and arrived at 10 a.m. I would normally work until 6 p.m. It is normally fairly quiet during the day and only starts to get busy in the evening. On this day, I had 5 tables to cover. I cannot be precise with the time, but around 1 p.m. in the afternoon, 4 men were seated at one of my allocated tables, table number 50. I can't remember who brought them to my table, but someone would be responsible for seeing them at the entrance door and seating them to a table of suitable choice. As soon as they sat down, Helen Smith, another staff member, approached the men and asked them if they wanted a drink. The man ordered 3 bottles of Beck's beer and a Diet Pepsi. I went over to the table and made sure the drinks had been ordered, and then went over to enter the drinks onto the till as we keep a computer record of the order. I will describe the men as follows. One of them, whom later introduced himself to me as Tony Tucker, he was white, mid-30s, he was very tall and had a stocky build. He had collar-length hair that was brown, long at the sides and short at the front. He was wearing a black bomber jacket and had a mobile phone, but I couldn't tell you what make. The next man, whom I shall refer to as Pat, was white, mid to late 30s, he was slightly taller than Tony and had a very large build. He had short hair that was greying but was brown in colour. He was wearing a long curved gold necklace outside his top. I can't remember his clothing, but he also had a mobile phone. The third man, whom I shall refer to as the younger one, was white, 26 to 28 years old. He was tall but not as large as the others, but he had a very well built physique. He had dark, possibly black hair that was very short in a French crop style. I remember he was wearing a very nice V-neck jumper, green and orange in colour. It stuck out as it was very nice. The fourth male I shall refer to as the quiet one, as he didn't say much and seemed very moody. He was also white. He appeared older than the others, perhaps late 30s, early 40s. He had a similar large build. He was very well built. He had wavy grey coloured hair, but I can't be sure as to the length, and stubble on his face. He was wearing a bright yellow coloured nylon bomber jacket that was zip-up. The young ones said they were all hungry and they wanted to order straight away. Tony ordered a fajita baguette. Pat ordered mushroom steak, mushroom with a baked potato. The young one ordered pasta Santa Fe with garlic bread, and the fourth male in the yellow ordered fajita baguette as well. Apart from the fourth male in the yellow jacket, the other 3 were mucking around, generally taking the piss. They kept asking me to let my hair down, and eventually after their constant pestering I did so. Tony said words to the effect of, "Oh yeah, nice, you've got to come to Berwick Manor on Friday, ask for Tony Tucker. Tony Tucker. It's easy, it rolls off the tongue." I said I might, but to be honest I had to work on Friday and needed the money. I mentioned to Tony that I knew a bloke that worked at Hollywood's nightclub in Romford, and Tony used his mobile to ring and try and find out who, but his phone wouldn't work, so he used Pat's. He finally got through and asked if they had a bouncer called Boise. Someone must have given a name of who this was, as Tony said, "What, Mick?" He laughed and said, "Sack him." He then laughed and said, "Only joking." At the end of their meal, Pat said to me, "Get Claire to ring me." I believe that Pat was asking if Claire could serve them. Claire Carey was who he meant, but she was not working that day. I said, "Has she got your number?" He said sharply, "Course she has." The bill came to around £56. Tony put down 70 quid cash, and Pat also put down a tenner. The fourth man just sat there and remained quiet throughout the meal, but he definitely seemed moody, although the other three were not ignoring him and didn't appear upset with him. All four left approximately an hour later. This left me with around £25 in tips, which I was really pleased about. I didn't see what car they went to, and this was the last time I saw them. However, I have subsequently been reading the national newspapers, and have seen Tony, Pat's and the young one's pictures in the paper as being shot and killed. They were definitely the same three who I served that day. I have not seen the fourth man in the papers, but I believe I would recognise him again. Interestingly enough, in this statement from the waitress, she mentions there at some point in time that Tony Tucker's mobile phone wasn't working, so he asked to borrow Pat's. You'll understand why that becomes important a little bit later on in this video. But from here, many people have the false impression that they received a phone call at Timberlog Lane, and that's to meet up later that evening. But that's not correct. There's actually another place they go to after TGI Fridays. I believe that Peter Cuthbert goes his separate way, and Tucker, Tate and Rolfe head to a carpet shop on Timberlog Lane. The following statement is from Mark Harding, dated the 9th of December 1995. I'm employed at LT Carpets Limited at their site at 198 Timberlog Lane, Basildon. From there, the company sells carpets to the public. I've worked at LT Carpets for around 12 years. I've seen people that are now known as Tony Tucker, Pat Tate and Craig Rolfe on a few occasions. On the 29th of the 11th, 95, the three of them all came in together. They had a look around, and then Tony Tucker made an order to recarpet a flat at 108 Mill Green, Basildon. It had already been measured and he wanted it fitted by the weekend. The total was £800. Tony paid a £100 deposit, leaving a balance of £700. The carpet was fitted on Friday the 1st of the 12th 95 by Steve Carter, who works out of our Dagenham shop. I asked him to pick up the balance of the money because I didn't want to have to try and chase up these people for the money. I haven't had any problems with any of them, but you hear stories about them, and they're all big people that you wouldn't like to argue with. After Steve had fitted the carpet, he came away without getting the money. So I had to phone up Tony Tucker to get the balance. He had given me his telephone number as 0385 317 327. I phoned him 3 times. I got through to him twice on that number. The other time the call was diverted and I left a message for him. When I spoke to Tony, he was apologetic and promised to get me the money. It's around 1:30 PM to 2 PM on Wednesday the 6th of the 12th 1995. The same 3 people, Tucker, Tate and Rolfe, came into the yard. They came in a blue Range Rover. They all got out, just walking about, whilst Tony came into the office and paid the £700 balance by cheque. After finishing the paperwork, they then left. Tony didn't really say anything, only sorry for messing us about. The invoice has been sent over to our main office in Peacock Road, Basildon. The cheque was banked with our day's takings that evening. I'm not certain which bank they use. It's after leaving the carpet shop that this story starts to take a bit of a more bizarre twist. Now, I covered this very recently, but for the purposes of this video, it's important for me to go over it again. Tony Tucker on his mobile receives a telephone call at 14:29 from the payphone at the Sorrel Horse Inn in Ipswich. Now, this is widely believed to be the call that was summoning them to a meeting later that evening, which led to their murders. Now, what I find interesting about these calls is that we've always been told that it wasn't actually Tony Tucker who was the prime target. He wasn't the prime motivation behind this triple murder. Now, what is also interesting about these telephone calls is that we're not just looking at one here. We have the original phone call from the payphone at the Sorrel Horse Inn to Tucker's mobile. Then he appears to head to the payphone on Timberlog Lane to call this number back at 14:32. Just a few seconds later, the payphone at the Sorrel Horse Inn is again calling Tucker's mobile. Now, in the book Blogs 19, which was co-written by Darren Nichols, it's claimed in there that this is Jack Womes making these telephone calls. Coincidentally, that the actual payphone at the Sorrel Horse Inn is incredibly close to where Jack Womes was working at the time. But did Jack Womes really know Tucker? Would he be calling Tony Tucker to arrange the meeting for later that evening? There's other people that believe that this was Steele trying to contact Tucker to arrange yet again the meet for later that night. Now, how you choose to interpret these telephone calls is down to you. If you believe this is completely innocent, this is simply Michael Steele who couldn't get hold of Pat Tate at the time, ringing Tony Tucker and organising the meet for later that evening, that's absolutely fine. Or you may wish to have a more sinister view of these phone calls. We've heard in previous videos of a slight strain in the relationship between Tucker and Tate. And did this impact on Michael Steele's plans? Now, if this is actually Michael Steele making these calls, is he arranging something with Tucker here that Tate was unaware of? It's also wholeheartedly possible that this isn't even Steele at all, or Jack Womes making these telephone calls to Tony Tucker. Now, this is going to border on the edge of conspiracy theory, and I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. Because what I find strange when looking at the crime scene, looking at the way that Tony Tucker's body is positioned in that Range Rover, he looks incredibly relaxed, as if he hasn't had a shock, he's not surprised by anything. But ultimately, he is also dead along with the other two members in that car. So what could possibly explain that? Could it have been that Tucker actually knew what was going on that evening and his job was to get Tate down the lane along with Steele or someone else? Could it have been that he was expecting Tate to be shot, therefore his body position is that of a relaxed person? Or could it simply be that his body position is like that because that's the way it fell after being shot with the shotgun? Now, because this case is quite open-ended in a lot of places, it does allow, I believe, for a little bit of assumption and possibly imagination in certain areas. Now, hopefully this doesn't come across as me being a conspiracy theorist or trying to push out false narratives or false ideas, but we have to ask ourselves, why is it Tucker that is receiving these telephone calls? The whole basis for this case that was put forward by the prosecution was that Michael Steele was under threat from Tate. Michael Steele was receiving threats. Tate was causing Michael Steele a great deal of trouble regarding the dud cannabis deal. It was decided that Tate had to go. Tucker doesn't even figure in this case in terms of a motive for murder. It just happened to be that Tucker was close to Tate and Tucker also got killed along with him. So why are these calls, the calls that are supposedly to actually arrange the meetup for later that evening, why are those telephone calls going to Tucker's mobile? Now, playing devil's advocate again here for one moment, could it be that Steele and Tucker actually deemed Tate to be the weak link in the chain? We had Tucker, who was a businessman to some degree. He was able to sell the product. We had Steele, who was able to import it off his own back, quite an intelligent guy. And we have Tate sort of sitting in the middle here, kind of like the muscle. But interestingly, when we take a look at Donna Garwood's statement, who was Tucker's then girlfriend, her brother actually mentioned that Tucker had said to her that Tate had done something which he was worried reflected badly on himself. Tucker was concerned by Tate's actions. Could it have been that either Tucker approached Steele and said, look, what do we need Tate for? He's causing us all this trouble. We've just had the Leah Bet situation. He's being too loud. We can work together. We can split the profits. We'll make a lot more money without him. And could it have been that that's how Steele got all three of them down the lane? This is all bearing in mind if Steele was actually involved. And as I say, it could well be, and it more than likely is, that Tucker, Tate and Rolfe were all completely unaware that night of what they were there for, and they were subsequently executed rapidly. It's also worth remembering that if this deal had any truth to it, if this deal was actually going to happen, this £1 million deal, that £1 million was worth a great deal of money, particularly back in 1995. Was Tucker the sort of greedy person who would have taken Steele up on such an offer to get rid of Tate and split the profit between them? Also, never underestimate the importance of the Leah Bet situation. Leah Betts, who died on November the 16th, 1995, and the press and the publicity that that then generated. The pressure, to some degree, was really coming down on Tucker during this time period. To end this video, I'm going to leave you with an eyewitness account of the last known sighting of Tony Tucker on December the 6th, 1995. The following is a short statement from Anna Marie Whitehead. The date, the 7th of December, 1995. The time, 1500 hours. I last saw Tony at 6 p.m. when he was picked up from my house by Craig Rolfe in the blue Range Rover. We were supposed to be going for a meal at the Global Caf, South Street, Romford last night, but he never returned. Tony was wearing jeans, Saatchi white vest, a fleecy North Sails jumper / sweatshirt and Caterpillar boots. He was carrying a Nokia mobile phone, telephone number 0385 317 327. I later left a message on his answer machine at 8 p.m. He would have had his address book / diary with him.
You have 26 messages.
Hi Tony, this is Holmes Building. Please ring Derek Tyler on leads 0113 284 3553. Thank you.
Hi, I don't know if you're there, this is ring up about the wages. Can you give me a ring at home? Okay, cheers, bye.
Hi, it's only me yet again. I just thought I'd ring you. Can you ring me as soon as you can? Bye. Hi, it's Mary. Can you ring me? It's really important. I need to do. Really important. Now. Thanks. Bye. Time, can you ring me when you get in, please? Bye. Hi, Tate. It's only Mary. Can you give us a ring when you get back or when you read your messages? Bye.
Tony's Colton, can you give us a ring at Lynn's? Cheers, mate. Tom, can you ring us back if he's dead? What's else to say? We're worried. Will you ring us straight back as soon as you can?
Tony, it's Jane and Ronnie here. Can you give us a call, please? 01303 245977 as soon as possible.
Oh, Tony, it's Pete. Your mum's been after your house telephone number. Can you ring her and let her know what it is? See you later. Hello, Tone. Could you ring me? It's Bill.
For God's sake, Tone, phone me. Speak to you later. Bye.
Hello, Tone. Give us a ring, mate. It's Mickey. Hello, Tone. Give us a ring, mate. Mickey.
Hi, anyway, Tone, when you listen to messages, could you ring me, please? Because I was sick at the moment. I'll speak to you later. Bye. Hi, it's only me. Time's nearly 2:05, still haven't heard from you. Can you just give us a ring, please, let us know you're alright? Because at the moment I think you're dead. You just said on the telly that there's 3 men in Range Rover. I think it's you. Bye.
Hello, Tone. Jan, can you give us a ring, please?
Hi, only me. Time's now 1:45, I still haven't heard from you. Can you just give me a ring, please? My mum to let me know that you're alright. Alright, speak to you later, bye. Hi, and me. Time's now 11:15. I just got home from stables. I was going to say, just thought I'd give you a ring because I haven't heard from you. You're either alright or you're not. I wouldn't know really. Just phone's off. Alright then. So I'll try and catch up with you later on. Bye.
Yeah, can you ring Bernie, please?
Tony, hi, it's Portugal here. It's 9 o'clock. Can you delay the pickup of your equipment until about, say, about 12 o'clock today? Because we're going to be working on it until then. It's going to be a couple of hours. I'll speak to you later. I'm at work. 515-6644. Cheerio.
Hello, babe, it's Maggie. So ring again in a minute. Bye.
Hi, Tony, it's Mary. Just to let you know, Chris is home, so if you're going to ring up, that bother about Willow Brook. He's at home with me. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye, just ring and let me know how you're getting on. I'm all ready now. Bye. Hi, babe and mate. Can you give me a ring round the flat what I used to be in? Remember, 557679. Yes, ring straight away, yeah? Right, speak to you in a minute. If not, come round my other flat. I'm around Drive at the moment, but come round the flat. I'll be here for the next about 15 minutes. Right then, speak to you in a minute. Bye.